Alrighty, folks, it is time for round 4 of Grand Prix Caersol. We are up against H-Squid. This is another player who is also 3-0, which means we could have chosen to take the draw. And in fact, my opponent did offer it, but for a couple reasons, I have chosen not to take the draw. The biggest of those is just that last month I made it to semifinals and still only got to play and record 4 matches because one of my opponents just wasn't available to play at the times that we were trying to coordinate. And another one of my opponents offered the draw that I much more readily took. So despite having 6 matches worth of matches happen for me last month, I only got 4 videos out of it. Wanted to do a little bit more this time around. So that's the biggest reason, pure content, but there is also a strategic advantage here. Control is kind of rising to the top of this current field, and those are the kinds of matchups where I definitely want to be on the play game 1 if I can help it. So I want to try and push for as best of an overall seed as I can. So obviously, if I can be one of or the only player who's 4-0, that benefits me. But there's also an advantage to playing this match and actually losing, because my opponent is going to give me better breakers if I lose this match than if we don't play at all. And I actually really need those better breakers right now because of 2 of my opponents early on in the GP, both having received the bye early on. So regardless of which way this goes for me, it is in my best interest to play this match, win or lose. So that is kind of this nice dichotomy here where I kind of don't mind which way this goes. I'm just going to roll with it and see if I can make things play out how I can. So let's talk about H-Squid's deck. This is a deck I was particularly afraid of. I was more afraid of the all-in Envoy just turbo plan, but that apparently has fallen at 2-2 at the end of the day. But this version is currently undefeated, and this version is also very scary. This is built around Lightless Conquest. Conquest is a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever it or another enchantment you control enters, you make a 1/1 that can't block. Whenever an artifact you control enters, you can sacrifice a creature to make a 3/2 elemental. And so you'll note as we start looking through the creatures, there's 2 copies of Caersol Valiant, a 1/1 for 1 with Wither that dies and makes a chart token, an artifact token. There's 3 copies of Newborn Oni, a 1-mana 1/1. You can pay 1 life, give it a +1 power boost for the turn as a sorcery. And if it dies while its power is 2 or greater, you make a treasure token, another artifact token. And then Omen Skulker, no condition to make its token. It just makes a treasure when it dies. And then there's also some incidental damage if they cast multicolored spells while this is in play. Another artifact token when it dies. Then you get to 2 mana. You have Smiling Sludge, makes a berry when it enters. Whenever any non-land permanent is sacrificed and put into a graveyard, it drains the opponent. That's another artifact token. Venture Capitalist, 2 mana 2/1, enters, search your library for an artifact card, exile it, then shuffle. Notably, there is Stella's Journal, an artifact that will always be able to be cast for free one way or another. So that's another thing that makes another artifact. And this can even tap and sacrifice an artifact to make mana. 3 mana, there's Fabricated Anomaly, which not only works with all of these 1-power creatures early on, but also enters and makes an artifact token and is an enchantment, so it can both make the 1/1 and make the trigger to sacrifice something and make a 3/2. And then that's all capped off by Envoy of the Fallen, which can get back multiple of these smaller creatures, sacrifice them, deal damage to us, gain life for them, and further enable all of the nonsense with Lightless Conquest. So this is a very, very reliably stable gum up the board, put a bunch of sack fodder into play, sacrifice decks that can get around the need to lean on Envoy of the Fallen with Smiling Sludge plus Lightless Conquest, being able to just turn all of your other creatures into 3/2s that also come with handy little damage to the face. And when you couple that with the fact that they're also on 2 Gift of Inspiration, which means as they deal combat damage to us, they can exile a top card of their library and then either play it for the turn or make a 1/1 artifact creature, trigger Lightless Conquest if they want to. when they're on 4 copies of Deadly Dispute, which works really well with all of their 1-drops, and it also makes another treasure token, draws them some cards. They're on a like decent artifact search engine with venture capitalist providing a toolbox for them to get that free Stella's Journal. They can get a Waypoint Armillary and just make some more fodder. They can get a welding rig and get some protection. Or they can get Golden Bloom of the Silenced and start shutting something down. And then they also fold in 2 copies of Bind Life to Steal as a potent form of recursion to back up Envoy of the Fallen, which everything they get back becomes artifacts in addition to their other types, so immediate lightless conquest triggers. There is a lot of sacrificing and a lot of 3/2s that are on the horizon here, and this is going to be a deck that is very comfortable chump blocking, I think. So that is something we're going to really struggle with, I suspect. We're going to have to really fight for the board to do what we can to push through what the opponent has going on, and I have some ideas for how to sideboard for this matchup, but it is going to be tricky. What I will say early on, though, when talking about sideboarding, is that it is very convenient for us that they have 6 cards above mana value 2 that could be in their hand. So we may finally get to put our hand attack to use. But yeah, that is going to be about it. Opponent is ready to roll. Let's jump into this. We are definitely wanting to win the die roll here, but that is a 6. Opponent rolls just 1 above. Oh, that is tragic. We've got Mountain, Erosive Path, Ignited Soul, Face of Animosity, Spirit Realm, Phoenix. Oh no, Squid, no. I'm not saying that out loud. If you can see that in the video, then you know why I'm saying oh no. Opponent is going to mulligan. I think I'm going to keep. Erosive Path is our first black source. If we find a second black source, we could get somewhere with March of the Long Night. I'm just going to keep the 7. I may pitch a Mountain to Ignited Soul. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. But opponent mulliganing is good for us. And us being on the draw does help with this hand being a little on the awkward side. I would love a Calamity Cat top deck. Calamity Cat or a top deck Dark Sun Migrant. Because one of the advantages for this matchup is that the opponent is really not on any interaction in the main. They've got some interaction in the sideboard, but really not a lot in that way either. So we are going to be pretty unscathed. We're just kind of trying to get through them. So maybe that is a reason to mulligan for one of the greedier starts. We get an Omen Skulker turn 1 here. We will draw a card, find a Mercenary of Dusk. I may pitch that to the Ignited Soul. We'll play Erosive Path and Ignited Soul here, and ship on over. Opponent plays Hollowed Chamber, tapped, and plays a second Omen Skulker. We will untap and draw. We find a Primal Fisher. See, this already sucks, because if we just swing in and use Face of Animosity to clear these and trade one cost versus 2 1-costs, they make 2 treasures and get 2 things set up in the yard. God, these treasure makers are really annoying. I think I'm just going to Primal Fisher, play Mercenary of Dusk, and ship on over. We will crack View Library, get that Swamp, play Mercenary of Dusk, targeting only myself. We mill 2 more Mercenaries. All right, those are out of here. And we ship on over. Mercenary be upon ye. They play a second tapped Hollowed Chamber, and they have a Smiling Sludge. Okay. We will untap. We will draw. We find a March of the Long Night. Okay. I think I'm going to play the mountain now because I'd like to hold up Face of Animosity specifically off of the mountain. We're going to go to combat. We're going to swing with both Trigger, I Will Mill, Erosive Path, Face of Animosity. See if they block and how they would like to block. If they block Ignited Soul, we are going to be trading Ignited Soul. If they block Mercenary of Dusk, Face of Animosity lets us go more positive here. I am hoping they block with the Smiling Sludge. They're going to double block with the Omen Skulkers. I think in that case, I'm just going to trade Ignited Soul with one Skulker. Only give them one treasure. Actually, is that good? No, we're going to Face of Animosity here, push 2 more damage, make up for them gaining the life off of these treasures, and then bin the Spirit Realm Phoenix to Ignited Soul Trigger. Oh, hey, this is rough. They are only on 2 cards in hand, so this is not, disaster scenario. They do get more treasures off the Hollow Chambers, but that does cost them their lands. I think I'd like to just clear these off the board. Trade for both, push 2 extra. Combat damage, trigger. I will discard the Spirit Realm Phoenix. We find a Sanguine Palace that is definitely going to be getting pitched later on. Main 2, we will March of the Long Night, get back Mercenary of Dusk. So they take the 3. We will mill 2. Dark Sun Migrant, Primal Fisher. Primal Fisher, good to see here. Dark Sun Migrant, a little less so, but it's fine. And we'll pass. So only 2 cards in hand. They're going to have a third here, but otherwise not that big of a deal. They pay 2 for a Lightless Conquest. Whoa. They do have 3 mana left. Man, a Fabricated Anomaly would not be pleasant here. And of course, I take 1 sip of my caffeinated beverage off to my side and immediately feel some go down the wrong pipe. I'm being so intentional to not just cough into the microphone right now, but I might have to. I'm going to mute my microphone real quick. I, of course, spoke Fabricated Anomaly into existence. They shocked in Enigmatic Fen. Fabricated Anomaly is going to make a new elemental and sack it to make the better elemental. But they are hand empty. They only have 5 recursive tools in their deck. So if we can fade those recursive tools, they have only seen 9 cards. This is insane that they've only seen 9 cards from their deck, and this is their setup right now. Good lord. There could be an argument to filling their graveyard with Mercenaries of Dusk for the sake of trying to just empty their graveyard to the best of my ability, but... trying to, mill their recursive tools, but I would rather not, because if they ever find one of those recursive tools, all of my mill gets so much better for them. So they've offset the life that they paid for Enigmatic Fen. They've got one thing that can freely sacrifice right now. We will untap, we will draw. Goodness gracious. I'm going to mute my microphone again just a moment. Sorry about that. Better to mute my microphone than cough into the microphone. All right. This is rough. I think we're going to be using Mercenary of Dusks for combat before we decide anything else. If they double block, what is the priority? If they double block one of these, what is the priority on what I'm looking to kill? I think order of urgency, I want to get the Smiling Sludge dead as soon as possible. Fabricated Anomaly is annoying, but they don't have a ton of things in their graveyard, and taxing their graveyard actively makes their recursive tools worse. Yeah, Smiling Sludge is the thing I most want dead. If they double block with these, I will kill the Fabricated Anomaly before the... No, I'll kill the Elemental token before the Anomaly, because I don't want them to recur Anomaly. So yeah, I think no matter what, I'm leaving Anomaly alone. We're going to go to combat. We are going to shove. We're going to mill 4. Migrant, March, Ignited Soul, Temple. Oh my goodness. I was gambling that we could try and hit an Anomaly here. No such luck. Yeah, we are in an awkward spot here. 4 lands in graveyard, 3 in hand, 3 in play. That is almost half of our lands right there. They are going to do the double block that preserves Smiling Sludge. Trade with Elemental token. Main phase 2. Should I have just gotten back the Spirit Realm Phoenix and said, fuck it, push in another 5? No, I really did want to try and hit the Fabricated Anomaly here, so I could start looting away some of these lands. Do I play Temple, March of the Long Night, Dark Sun Migrant back so I can still start doing that? Is it better to get back Migrant versus Phoenix or Mercenary? That feels so wrong. But, like, they have no removal for it. God, that might just be the play. This feels really weird. So it'll be a 2-1 when I attack with it. Fortunately, this can't block. They're going to puzzle box away another Hollowed Chamber, which was their draw for the turn. They're going to attack with the Elemental token. We're just going to take 2. This is getting a counter. See what they have. They are going to play Warpway Rings. That's an artifact. They get to sacrifice the Elemental. Goodness gracious. And then this is not going to trigger Smiling Sludge when this sacrifices, but it will be able to thin their deck. Question is, are they going to look to pop the Hollowed Chambers for some burst? So thinking for a moment here, they crack Warpway Rings, Hollowed Chamber at the end of my turn. That's 5 treasures. So that's 5 Smiling Sludge triggers. I'm functionally at 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. Yeah, so we are in a precarious position here. Hmm. All right, they are just going to equip the Smiling Sludge now. So they're not going to be popping both Hollowed Chambers, at least. We will untap. We will draw. My God. That's profoundly unfortunate. I think we're just going to play the Sanguine Palace tapped, run over into combat, swing. I think I just mill first. We mill Migrant, Calamity Cat. Those are fine. I will discard the Primal Fisher to exile top card as a Fabricated Anomaly. Oh, that is very useful here. So let's see if they have anything here. Or how they choose to block. They could put me in a position to kill Elemental and Fabricated Anomaly if they double block Smiling Sludge plus another thing in front of Mercenary of Dusk. I think that is preferable to them over me just getting to full-on kill them. Fabricated Anomaly so well timed at this point, but it's still really awkward. I'd rather have this before attacking, and I'd rather have known this was coming so I could shock in the Sanguine Palace, hopefully draw a 2-drop and play it. Mm. They can still pop both Hollowed Chambers to make 4 treasures. They just have to use this treasure now. Man, Lightless Conquest is so good. So opponents definitely tanking on whether or not they want to sabotage their board for the sake of these blocks. But at the moment, they have to block something. If they block nothing, do nothing, then this does kill them. So they are going to do these blocks. Yeah, Barry sacrifices here. It is forced to sacrifice because it will be dealing damage. Just making sure my opponent and I are on the same page. Yep. Oh, that's funky. Why did it, like, hang out hover there for a second? All right. Play Fabricated Anomaly, make my own puzzle box, loot away this mountain, find another Dark Sun Migrant. Hello. So they are going to crack, go get a mountain. Are they going to pop Hollow Chambers? They're not going to pop Hollow Chambers, so we are squarely not in the dying range this turn. And they are not in the padding their life total space right now. Deadly Dispute's really bad for us. That is 2 draws, trying to dig them out of this. They turn a treasure into a treasure. We take 1, they gain 1. And, God, Envoy is so bad here. They choose to do nothing with the Lightless Conquest trigger, notably. Envoy's really bad for us here, as is Bind Life to Steal. I think Bind Life to Steal might be worse than Envoy. Because Bind Life to Steal, they get to get Fabricated Anomaly, Omen Skulker. That's 3 artifacts and an enchantment entering. Oh, no. Ooh. What's happening here? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Please not. Okay, that's a second Smiling Sludge. Still really bad. Goodness gracious. They make another berry token. They're going to equip a berry. Okay. That's awful, but this isn't end times. We will untap. We will draw Mercenary of Dusk. I think I am just going to loot this away. We find an Exorcist of Errors. Do I care about Exorcist of Errors right now? Do I have any reason to want to get Exorcist of Errors out right now? Oh god, this is hard. I think if they had something in their hand that would have been devastating to me, they would have played it. So at this point, Exorcist is kind of just a dud. I'm going to pitch it to Dark Sun Migrant to give it double strike. The double strike is really important. So Migrant will discard another land. Set annotation DS until EOT. And then we will eat 4 cards from our graveyard to give these both a +1/+1 counter. At the very least, we're getting back Spirit Realm Phoenix here. All right, they're going to block the Migrant with Smiling Sludge. Drain 1 before normal damage. So they do that. Then they trade Smiling Sludge for Dark Sun Migrant. And they take 3. All right. So these trade. They take 3. Main phase 2, we will play that mountain, because Migrant lets us do that. Oh yeah, drain 2. God. End step, we will pick up the Phoenix. All right, they pitch away a Sanguine Palace to Puzzle Box. I think that might have been the card they had in hand. Oh my god, the third Smiling Sludge in the top 17 cards. Oh, that is gutting right there. Oh my god. So they are going to bury up a Smiling Sludge here. We're going to untap, draw, Ignited Soul. We are just going to pitch that instantly. Find a Calamity Cat. All right. Well, we Phoenix. We are not going to play the Calamity Cat yet because we can try to mind game them. Go to combat. Swing. We're going to eat 5. Counters on both. Trigger on Spirit Realm Phoenix. This is Exactsies, but again, they are so comfortably able to ignore it. Man, I knew this matchup would be rough, but this is sketchy. Yep. Yeah, Phoenix is really good. So unfortunately, we're in this awkward spot of if we had a Face of Animosity, we would kill in the blind. Granted, no, we wouldn't. Berry token, treasure token, Smiling Sludge triggers. But Theoretically, we would. The nice thing is we have put the impetus on them to have to block Fabricated Anomaly, because otherwise... Okay, they're going to double block Fabricated Anomaly. All right. I'm going to say no responses. Opponent is going to respond and crack Hollowed Chamber, make 2 tapped treasures. All right. Yeah, they gain 2 back. I take 2. And then damage. They take 3. Oh, they're using their second sludge. Okay, so we take 1 here. And they gain back 1. I didn't think they were going in on both sludges. Oh god, this makes me think that they absolutely have a Bind Life to steal. This is gonna suck. Okay, they loot away a land. They might not have it. My fingers are crossed. We are praying right now. Opponent is going to swing in with the Elemental. They play another Hollowed Chamber, so that's their 4th Hollowed Chamber. If we go to 5... Okay, so we're at 8 right now. 4 mana for Envoy. They get back Smiling Sludge. They get back one of their little idiots. One of their Omen Skulkers. That represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they have lethal with Envoy already. So I think I have to not block here. Oh, God. I'm just stuck thinking, is that the right call? Okay. So let's be more specific. They have... So obviously, Bind Life to steal, 2 copies. If they have it, we die. They get back 3 Smiling Sludges. Each one of these only costs them 1 mana. They get back 2 Omen Skulkers for an additional mana. So these 5 cards costs them 6 mana to get back. They get to keep 2 treasures while doing that. They get 3 berries. They get 2... all of these are artifacts. They pop 2 Omen Skulkers, 2 Lightless Conquest triggers, and then with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Lightless Conquest triggers still on the stack, they shoot us for 6. If they have Bind Life to steal, we're super dead. If they have Envoy, Smiling Sludge plus Omen Skulker costs them 4 mana. They don't have to burn one of their other permanents. Or sorry, they don't have to burn any of their treasures. So they get to go make a berry, get Omen Skulker sacrificed to Lightless Conquest, get a Smiling Sludge trigger. They have 4 treasures. sacrifice 4 treasures, that gets us to 3. Sacrifice the elemental token to Envoy, that takes us to 1. Sacrifice Smiling Sludge, that takes us to -1. We are dead to either of their recursive tools. What other burn do they have? Nothing really. That is pretty much it. Could Venture Capitalist be terrifying? Not really. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, no blocks. This is tough. But yeah, if they have Envoy or if they have Bind Life to Steal, we are dead. Oh god, a second Deadly Dispute. So they get to sack a treasure, replace that treasure, replace the elemental, so they have a blocker again. Holy crap. And draw 2 fresh cards. Well, once again, Bind Life to Steal murders us. They still have 6 mana available to them. They don't need these treasures to kill us with Smiling Sludge. They pass. They only have Deadly Dispute that they could play at instant speed. Oh my god. Oh my god, I think we got there. Because this is lethal. We untap, we draw. Face of Animosity. We are just going to go to combat. Shove with 9 power. 1, 2... 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop. And that's too many. We wanted to do this. That's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. They go ahead and block like that. Anything for damage? Oh. Holy shit. That was so close. So tense. All right. We are gonna have to make some changes. So I alluded to the fact that they have very few cards with more than 2 mana value. They also care about their graveyard. This is the reason I brought Absentia, because of this matchup. If I can Absentia something, I want to, I need to. I don't love playing something that is a little more interactive rather than just aggressive. But if I can take a Smiling Sludge out of their hand, or a Lightless Conquest out of their hand, or a Bind Life to Steal out of their hand, I need to. Manifest Knot is useless in this matchup. I do not have time to get Manifest Knot online. I just can't. I can say that much with certainty. I think at this point, Manifest Knot is just one of those flexible, like, second wind cards in game 1, and at this point, it is just hitting the stacks every time we go to game 2. I would like to look at Twilight Ambush. I would like to look at Coordinated Shot. Let's look at their sideboard before we make any more decisions. So they've got 2 copies of Golden Bloom of the Silence to go with the one in the main. I don't think that particularly matters against us, but it could have some relevant text. 3 copies of Godslaughter Titan would have actually been pretty good at walling us there, but I'm not sure it's the most important thing they could have going. Aushun's Presence would give them a way to block our flyer, and give them a bit of sustainability over the long term, but I'm not sure that matters either. They could look at bringing in their own Absentias, because we do have a very low curve as well, and our graveyard also matters, but not to the degree that theirs does, I think. I'm not sure if Absentia is as important to them as it is to us here. They've got 2 more copies of Bind Life to Steal. I'm very fearful that they will board this in, but I feel like they probably will. And then 3 copies of Duress, much less important, I think. Our non-creature spells are not as critical as our creatures. So, if we bring in Twilight Ambush, that gives us removal for everything but Envoy of the Fallen and the like 2/2 plus things buffed by Fabricated Anomaly. So it's pretty much just the elemental token, the 3/2 elementals when buffed by Fabricated Anomaly and Fabricated Anomaly. I think I would like that before I'd like to play Coordinated Shot. Because them gumming up the board was very important here, and I would like them to not gum up the board as much. Question then becomes, what am I cutting for these 5 extra 1 mana black cards? I think... Oh, man. Maybe 1 fewer. I think maybe we do some trimming down to 3s. So we go Mercenary Dusk down to 3, Spirit Realm Phoenix down to 3, Ignited Soul down to 3, March of the Long Night down to 3, and Calamity Cat down to 3. We could also look at Dire Visionary, because that does give us some real sustainability in the long term, and we do kind of want to go wide. Going in the air does actually do something meaningful for us. I think maybe we do these over the Ignited Souls. This is a pretty drastic sideboard here. We are bringing in everything but the coordinated shots, and even then, the shots could be good. I just think, in terms of things in our sideboard, these are the things I'm least interested in bringing in. This is a pretty transformative sideboard here at this point. We're going down all 4 Ignited Souls, all 3 Manifest Knots, and then 1 each Mercenary of Dusk, Spirit Realm Phoenix, March of the Long Night, Calamity Cat. So we still have some of our key things. We still have the full 4 Face of Animosity. We still have the full 4 Dark Sun Migrant. We still have 3 Calamity Cats, 3 Mercenaries, 3 Spirit Realm Phoenixes, and then we still got playsets of Exorcist and Anomaly. All right, let's rock it. Opponent is going to be on the play again. Holy crap, what is this? The worst part of this is Dire Visionary into double Exorcist feels really good. Oh my god. I think I have to keep this. Because I could just loot the 4th land. Dire Visionary gives me an outlet to start looting these. Yeah. This feels like an awful hand to keep, but I'm going to keep. We just want the disruption here. They have no removal. So Exorcists will be able to keep things off the board for as long as I say so. We will draw Twilight Ambush is really good here. We will also take 2 for a 1/1. Dire Visionary boarded in here. So I noted before we really got into it that my opponent mentioned they made a misplay last round. They have been recording. I'll mention this in the outro, but my opponent is also recording, so there will be a time card in the outro and link in the description in case you are interested. Oh god, on-curve Smiling Sludge. Yep. They're going to swing 1. We take 1. We untap. We draw Erosive Path. All right. We will play Erosive Path. I think we're still going to go for Exorcist of Errors here. Yeah, opponent is also recording. They mentioned that they made a misplay, and I brought up my misplay in round 1. They're presenting Smiling Sludge. If they're holding 3 lands, this is a masterful gambit, but I have to wonder what could be in their hand that is more important than Smiling Sludge. I don't think much. So that is another good gambit in the face of Smiling Sludge. Just give them the thing that you figure they're going to take, and then hide the rest. So yeah, I'll take the Smiling Sludge. They still have 1 in play. I can Twilight Ambush it, and I will pass. They're going to dispute the berry. We take 1, they gain 1. They draw 2, make a treasure. Man, dispute's still so good. Do they have a 3rd land? This will be pretty telling if they do not. So my opponent was bringing up their misplay last round, and I mentioned my order mistake in round 1 with Dire Visionary and Puzzle Box. But it is nice that Dire Visionary does not have that same ordering problem with itself. Its own activated ability is just you discard as part of the ability resolving. So you get to make the token on your turn after seeing what you draw. Whereas the puzzle box, you have to wait to see what you draw. You have to decide before you draw. They do not play another land. We will untap. We will draw another Twilight Ambush. Let's Exorcist once more. I'll Exorcist and then I will Primal Fisher for a swamp to Twilight Ambush. They present Aushun's Presence, Bind Life to Steal. Do I care about Aushun's Presence? No, I don't think I do. I'll take... Do I care about Bind Life to Steal? I think I care a little more about Bind. Yeah. Once again, I'm not too concerned with the hidden information. I'm just going to take... Wow, apologies, excuse me. I'm going to take the very potent thing that I know I need to be worried about. And then we know they have an Aushun's Presence. We will play Primal Fisher, crack it, view library, get a swamp. Get this idiot out of here. Combat, we swing in. See if they'd like to block. They're just going to take 2, and we pass. Great. So they do have something they can get back if they have like Untapped Land Envoy here, or if they have Bind Life to Steal, if they'd like to. They do have the Untapped Land. They're going to shock that in. They pay 2 for a Lightless Conquest. Uh-oh. So that makes an unable to block token. They pay 1 more for a Caersol Valiant. That's also annoying. They pass, we untap, we draw, we find a 3rd Twilight Ambush. My goodness. It is pretty good for us. Alrighty. Let's, I think, kick off with Dire Visionary. So we will activate Dire Visionary. We will discard Primal Fisher to draw a card. Trigger. I will pay 1, make the bird token. Let's play Swamp as land for turn, go to combat, and just turn them both sideways. So they could use the Caersol Valiant to try and shrink one of my Exorcists for future turns. They are going to shrink the one with the Smiling Sludge under it. I'm going to hold the Face of Animosity and say K to that. So Exorcist is now a 1/2 because of Wither. They make a chart token. They may sacrifice something to Lightless Conquest. They're going to sacrifice the Omen Skulker, make a treasure, and then sacrifice the Elemental, make another Elemental here. Alrighty. We ship on over. Opponent has 3 cards. We have 3 cards. They are going to pay 2 for the Aushun's Presence. They make another elemental here. They're going to play Newborn Oni. They're going to not swing in here, but they are going to Aushun's Presence. Looks like sacrifice the elemental. Oh, they paid 1 life. They're going to crack the Newborn Oni. Okay. Yeah, so they paid the 1 life. They get to crack that. They draw a card. They replace that. They sacrifice the 3rd token. Let me think for a moment here. If I would like to... They're going to pay 3... Sorry, they're going to pay 2 for Venture Capitalist here. Search their library for a Warpway Rings. Play that, I assume, sacrifice Venture Capitalist. Yes. So they make a 4th elemental token. Now I'm very curious as to why they didn't swing in with the 2 they had. I think I am incentivized to just pull the trigger on killing 2 of these. Yeah. I just need to get those off the board. We will untap. We will draw our last Twilight Ambush, in fact. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Combat. We're going to swing with just these. If they double block, we get to kill both and not lose the Exorcist. So we'll Twilight Ambush 1. We will Face of Animosity the Exorcist. So... Oh, nope, just 3. So they take 1, 2, 3, 4. Counter here. There is no reason to use Dire Visionary. We are very all in here, but we got to make do with what we got. This stops being +1. They do crack, go get a mountain. There are draws that are really scary. They have Hollowed Chamber untapped. They have Newborn Oni. So they could crack Hollowed Chamber to Lightless Conquest this, or they could just hold on to Aushun's Presence and crack it to Aushun's Presence to draw a card. I feel like at this point they want to save Aushun's Presence as a blocker. This is a pretty awful blocker for them, so I don't think they care for this. They can use Lightless Conquest as an instant speed 3/2 blocker with Hollowed Chamber. So that is something to be aware of. They pass. So they are going to not use Aushun's Presence to crack. They're going to not even be making a treasure off of this. They are just going to be holding on to, crack the chart, make a 3/2 at instant speed, or make a 3/2 at instant speed while blocking with Aushun's Presence as well. We untap. We draw. We are going to promptly use Dire Visionary, discard, and draw Fabricated Anomaly. No pay. Anomaly. That is huge for us. So if we swing in with the bird, they can animate Aushun's Presence and then Lightless Conquest it away instead. But then we don't lose the bird. Or if we swing in with the Exorcist, they get to animate Aushin's Presence, Lightless Conquest away, the Newborn Oni, double block Exorcist, and we're in a whole heaping amount of trouble because they just then get to bind life to steal back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And heck, they can even sorry, 8. So that would be X is 4, 6 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no, this is not going in ever right now. I'm also not going to offer up the Smiling Sludge here. So we're going to go to combat, swing 1, and that's going to be all we swing with. And we pass. Did we have any form of lethal if we swing in with everything? Oh my god, they go past Envoy of the Fallen and Omen Skulker to get their land here. They do find a Warpway Rings, but... Okay, so they animate Aushin's Presence permanently. It's now a 3/2 flyer. Them immediately missing Envoy on the chart is really good for us. Them not cracking Hollow Chamber also decent for us because it means that them finding a Smiling Sludge here is not that relevant. Let's see what they've got. We know they've got an artifact to enable Lightless Conquest. On this next turn, they're at 6. They could not have more than 2 blockers without playing a card from their hand. Any 3 creatures getting in kills. Pending draws, we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have enough cards in graveyard to enable all of that. Amazingly, if we find a long a March of the Long Night, that is pretty dead to us right now. Which is really unfortunate. But we have just found a lot of our interaction, all of our Twilight Ambushes, one of our Dire Visionaries, no Absentias. At this point, Absentia not as important, but if I find it and I can't discard it, I may still hold on to it to burn a Smiling Sludge. Nice thing about where we're at with mana as well is I can Puzzle Box and pretty confidently make the bird token before I see what else goes away. They're going to pay 3. They have a Fabricated Anomaly. Ugh. They're not putting anything on Newborn Oni, so they're going to make and sacrifice the new Elemental. They're going to loot away the Warpway Rings. That's a lot of blockers now. And they still have Hollow Chamber available to them. Goodness gracious, just when we think we're starting to crest the corner, the opponent just sets up a board that's too tough to punch through. They are going to sacrifice the Newborn Oni to Aushin's Presence to draw a card. Interesting. So we are now back on the if we find some reach, we have lethal train. They're going to pay 2, Deadly Dispute, sacrifice the Puzzle Box. They make another treasure. Ooh. Why did they put Warpway Rings from their hand into their graveyard? What? Oh, that was Welding Rig from top of library. Omen Skulker from bottom of library into their graveyard. Envoy of the Fallen. What is happening here? I'm so confused as to what just happened. So I think... So they drew the 2 cards, then they accidentally revealed Welding Rig. They put Welding Rig on top, and then they accidentally revealed the bottom 2? With the known cards from chart onto graveyard. Oh! That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so they were doing the known cards from that. They're going to play a Caersol Valiant. They play a tapped Sanguine Palace, 1 card in hand. So they have 4 blockers. We are not out of this. We untap. Their ability to sacrifice anything to put additional blockers or sudden increases in power is also gone at this particular moment. We will untap. We will draw Calamity Cat. I think at this point, Calamity Cat's going to go away. Trigger on Dire Visionary. We are going to pay and make a bird. And then we will draw another Dire Visionary. Do I care? I think I'm better off looting this second Dire Visionary away rather than pulling any triggers anywhere. We will discard Dire Visionary, draw a card, trigger. I will make another bird. Face of Animosity. Does that meaningfully change? That meaningfully changes a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We keep everything but the we get rid of everything but the Dire Visionary in our graveyard. So we go to combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. So we remove this, and then +1/+1 counters on all of these. And depending on how they block, Face of Animosity, I think, is just going to kill. If they don't block everything. Yeah, they need to block everything, but they're going to be incentivized to try and double block the Exorcist with the 2 counters on it to try and free up their Bind Life to steal. I think we just got there in 2. We'll see how they block. It's not over yet, but this does look promising. We'll see how they block. This is a tough call for them. If they block everything, that's 2 toughness, 3 toughness, 2 toughness, 1 toughness. If they put Caersol Valiant in front of Exorcist of Errors, Face of Animosity kills them. In front of the 4/5 Exorcist of Errors. So that is, if they block everything, that's how they could still die here. Otherwise, if they block everything and Caersol Valiant is not specifically in front of this Exorcist of Errors, but they block something to kill the Exorcist that's hiding Smiling Sludge, I will Face of Animosity the Exorcist that's hiding Smiling Sludge. I will not do so to protect the bird token. I don't think I'll need to protect Fabricated Anomaly. So I've already figured out how I'm going to Face of Animosity through all of this. They are going to triple block the Exorcist hiding Bind Life to steal and then chump Fabricated Anomaly here. GG's. That is in 2. We are 4-0, beating the Lightless Conquest Aristocrats deck. That is a tough matchup to be sure, but we are in there 4-0, undefeated in the Swiss, going into Top Cut. That feels incredibly tough to navigate, but we've managed to slide in there through having to worry about any of their interactive tools. Exorcist of Errors showing why it is just one of the best creatures in the format right now. Who needs Absentia, honestly? Like, what was this going to be good for? Holy cow, that, my hands have the jitters. All right, well, that is going to bring us into Top Cut very solidly. Almost no shot we wind up not in first seed. I think if anyone can take it from us, it is going to be the other undefeated player, All Who Wanders, but I think they're the only person who can take it from us at this point. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you all enjoyed that very tense matchup. Well played to my opponent, and if you want to check out this matchup from their side of things, HQuid's video will be in the description below as soon as I can get it in there, and is also going to be available in a time card right about now. You can check the info card. Otherwise, I will see you all in the Top Cut. Cool to be hitting Top Cut so solidly. Very good feeling here. Well played to all of our opponents who have definitely not made any of these matches free, but I feel like I am really getting to start to cement why Looters is one of the decks that I am becoming known for. I definitely enjoy these kinds of strategies. I've already put in a feedback form about this deck. I am pretty known for this kind of strategy, and I remember being very, very vocal about thinking that the patch last June to hit the deck that I brought back in the start of Errors of the West Kitsuo season. I remember feeling like vocalizing that I thought like the patch was a little too heavy-handed in bringing the Looter counters red-green build down. I think the patch that hits this deck needs to be heavy-handed. I think this deck is pretty egregious. But we'll get into that in the final thoughts when we get to that point. Until then, hope y'all are looking forward to Top Cut. We've only got a few matches between us and our second GP win. Let's see if we can go 2 times and get our second crown with Looter aggro. I'll see you all in Top Cut in the meantime. Resources in the description below. Please join the Discord channel, Discord server. Join the Revolution channels, play the format for yourself, and I'll see you in that Revolution chat. Bye-bye!